My name is Sanna Falk, and I work as a coordinator for integration and segregation at Järfälla Municipality, and I will show you soon where that is located. And I will talk specifically, like Henrik said, about how we work in one way with the strategic partnerships and cooperations with the local civil society in our municipality. So as you see here on the map, this is the Stockholm area, the Stockholm region, and this darker orange area is the city of Stockholm. And as you can see, Järfälla is located at northwest of the city of Stockholm. So we're bordering with the capital, but we're outside still. And the municipality has around 83,000 inhabitants, and this is a growing population. So we are constructing almost a whole new city district in the municipality, and we have a constant influx of people to the municipality. And then I included some numbers that I thought could be of relevance for this presentation. So we have around 33% of the population born outside of Sweden, so with a migrant background. The level of socioeconomic segregation is higher compared to both national and the regional levels. And so with this as a background, there has been a political goal to strengthen the integration and to decrease the level of segregation within the municipality. And there have been, of course, there are so many things being done to achieve this goal. And one thing has been done to developing these partnerships with the civil society that I will talk more about. So we have worked with something called idea-based public partnership, or that's my translation from the Swedish idéburet offentligt partnerskap, which is shortened IOP in Swedish. So this is a model or a framework that was developed in 2010, but there were national guidelines in 2019, so quite a long gap there. And then we had local guidelines for how to implement this, how to work with this model in 2022, so this year in January. So what is this type of model, idea-based public partnership? So it's a way to collaborate. It's a more formalized or standardized collaboration between the municipality and the civil society. And I would say the most important thing in this is that both parts contribute. So that's what makes it a partnership. So therefore, it's a form in between providing grants where we give money to associations, for example, so that they can do different types of activities. But the municipality is not really involved in what they do. And it's not to procure a service. So it's really something in between. Another possibility for us to work with NGOs. And as you may know, there are, of course, different laws that we have to take into consideration as a municipality. So I just wrote some of them down there. There can be no markets, and it's only for NGOs, so no nonprofits. So the aim with these partnerships is to create an added value and to be of use for the people living in the municipality. It should contribute to solving complex and shared challenges. So what does that mean? It means that there are challenges that we as a municipality, we might not be able to solve ourselves because they're so complex. And for us, in relation to what I'm talking to now, it was decided upon to go into these partnerships with the aim to solve this challenge of strengthen the integration and to decrease the segregation, so in line with the political goal. and they should also provide new solutions. And so how did we do this? Like I think I mentioned, there was this political initiative, both this goal that I've been talking about, but also there was an initiative to provide financial support to something that we have that is called the Civil Society Council. So it's a council that consists of politicians, but also representatives from different associations, like local associations, and also local religious communities. So with the purpose of talking about how we can strengthen the integration. So we had a directive to provide financial support to these organizations. And we had these guidelines in place for the public partnerships. So what we did was that we informed the members of this council that this possibility was open, that you could go into partnerships with us. And then they came with initiatives, what they thought was needed and what they could do. And after these initiatives came in, we had dialogues with all of the organizations. And we talked a lot about how can we collaborate, how would this partnership look like. And then this led to that we signed agreements. So these agreements, we wrote really everything down, like a common value base. We had aim, goals, activities, a time plan, all those things that you maybe have for also a project. But this was maybe a bit more in-depth, because we also talked about our different responsibilities and roles in these partnerships. Like I said, that is like the fundamental of this IOP form, I would say. So for example, both parts finance the activities. So the main responsibility for the municipality has their responsibility, but a role has been to provide the financial support. But the organizations actually also provide finances in a way with their time, maybe with material, with their rent, cost for rent, like different things that we translated into cost to be able to see that, okay, we both actually go into this partnership and contribute. And then we also cleared like how the follow-up structure would look like. So we had steer groups with at least two or three representatives from different departments at the municipality. And we meet every 2 months. And then we have evaluations midterm and also in the end of the partnership. And then we had a political approval. And I write this because this was of high political interest. This is the first time that we did this. We started in spring, and we're still in the implementation of these partnerships. So we're not done yet. We're in midterm almost, I would say. But so it's not it wasn't necessary with this political approval, but it was of high interest. So you could do this without the politics also. Yes. And so out of 8 partnerships that we went through with, these 3 are connected to the informal language learning. They have specific goals of increasing levels of Swedish among migrants or people living in the municipality that wants to improve their Swedish still. So the first one is a language cafe or an association that are organizing language cafe in combination with job seeking activities. And the second one, there are 2 parties that are providing courses to practice Swedish and also to learn basic digital skills. And then we have the partnership with Språkkraft. And I'm sure you are familiar at least with their applications. And they are developing a local adaptation of the application called Lab Coach. that has this integrated language support. So I will not go into how it works, but it will
do more on that, Sanna, later on if you want, or if you want me to do that now.
Sorry.
Just to let you know that last coach, of course, means reading coach.
Yes.
So that's the
exactly reading coach. So
that uses the same method that Nils-Jonas showed earlier in the presentation about Språkkraft, but it uses it for various different kinds of media. So we're adapting a local version of that. Yeah.
Exactly. So it will include, for example, also the web page of the municipality with our different news and different activities that we offer, different supports that we offer. It will include the local newspaper and other local information. So for us, of course, it's important in a way to like improving the language skills we see it as important for strengthening the integration, of course. So it's important only for that on itself, but it's also important for us to have this as a communication, like that we can provide information also through this application from the municipality. So we can reach people in another way with this integrated language support, and also that they get the information about things that are going on in the local community, and we believe that will also increase the inclusion in society. What else? Something else about that? Yes, I think that is mainly what I'm going to say about that partnership. But I also want to say that we one important role for me in this has been to also make connections for the different organizations among each other. So connecting different organizations, but also to connect, for example, Språkkraft with other important representatives from the different departments in the municipality. So, for example, in the steer group, we have the principal or director for the Swedish for Immigrants, SFI, and we have a director for the libraries. So we try to connect different roles to the activities so that it gets spread, the information. And also, for example, Språkkraft visited the language cafe that is first in this first point that I had here. And they are using the applications now in their language cafe. So that has also been a way to make connections. And I think that has been a really important part of this partnership. Yes. So I already started to talk a little bit about this, but I try to summarize a little bit what we have learned so far. And I do believe that these partnerships have increased the understanding mutually for each other. So I think that we have better understanding now for how different actors from the civil society work and how they function, what they can offer. And I think that it's mutual. So I also feel that different organizations have a better understanding also for now how the municipality work and what we do and how we can collaborate. Yes. And my second point there is that it takes time. And I would say that is both that it takes time. I'm sure you know that it takes time to implement activities. And we only have partnerships now for 1 year. So it takes time, the implementation, but also to administrate the partnerships. And I wrote this down because I think it's important to know if you're entering a partnership or you're thinking about entering a partnership, that it's important also from the perspective of the municipality, that it's important to actually prepare to put in working hours in this partnership. Because even though the organizations are mostly responsible for conducting the activities and making sure that they reach out we are also a part, and we have to put in working hours in making these connections and doing all the administrative things that we need to do. Yes, and I wrote down here to enable contacts, that it's been decisive, it's been really important, I think, and I think that Henrik would agree with me, that it's one of the success factors that we have been able to make this connection, both internally, like inside of the municipality, but also among other organizations. Yes, and like I already mentioned, it's been a way to reach inhabitants or residents in the municipality that we often struggle to reach, because some of them are also members in these NGOs, and they then get reached by information from us. And I also think I wrote increased trust ? Because we don't know this, but I think that it could also increase the trust from the citizens for the municipality, and vice versa, because since if they can see that we are making these collaborations, and that they get a better understanding for how we work and what we offer and what we can help with, then I think that's a good thing. And I think I wrote down one challenge, and I think that is that it can be a challenge to implement long-term partnerships, because that is the aim, I would say, from us, to have this long-term partnership. But as you may know, it's the municipality is governed by politicians, and so they take decisions each year for the budget and the goals and the priorities. So that makes it a little bit difficult sometimes to navigate this long-term partnerships. Yes, but we will see. Evaluations will tell us more. We're not done yet, and we have a lot of work left to do. So now you got like a midterm, what we have learned so far presentation. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Sanna. Excellent. And as you pointed out here towards the end, that this is of course very brand new in your municipality.
Yeah.
And the midterm, it's interesting that I just submitted our midterm evaluation to Sanna last night, or not evaluation, but our midterm report. And I have to reiterate from our side at Språkkraft how extremely, I'm so grateful for your presentation and how extremely fruitful this partnership and your decision in the municipality to form such partnerships with the NGOs, local NGOs. It's been for us as an NGO who have been doing activities for informal learning, for language learning, for migrants for a lot of years. And sort of trying to reach in some way, how can we interact with formal language education? How can we make what we can contribute with actually work within the municipality? And often struggle, trying to find the right person to talk to within the municipality, trying to get that person to negotiate that idea within the municipality and see that this is a good thing. And with this kind of partnerships, it's opened up so many doors, and all of them have been sort of received also very positively. So it's been an extremely good, fruitful thing for us as an NGO, and I'm glad to see here that you're seeing this also. And I agree with all of the points, Sanna, that you made about how it has made it more apparent to us as an NGO on how the municipality works, what the different departments do. And also the other point about how it makes it possible for us with the assistance of the municipality, to work with other NGOs who work in the similar field, to get in touch with them and to see how we can sort of work together with them. And that we know that we have the municipality supporting this work and facilitating, putting us in touch, helping us to sort of connect with the right people. So it's an extremely good initiative. Sorry, but
it's nice to hear you, and I think that this formalized partnership is good in that way. Like it enables those contacts. It makes it easier.
Yes. So Lisa, the question.
But is this cooperation between all the Swedish organizations inside the community, or is it for the language learning people in different languages?
Sanna.
It was the loud was a little bit difficult, so yeah.
Okay.
Sorry,
okay. So Sanna, can you explain a bit about that? About sort of who is it for when you decided to do this kind of programs? Who were they for? Who did you reach out to?
So if you like, according to the guidelines, the national and also the local ones that we have, anyone could reach out to us and say, we see this challenge, we have the solutions, we would like to have a collaboration with you. And we would have to take that in and see, okay, is this something that we also see? Is this something that we can go into? So it is open for everyone, but we had this political initiative to direct this towards members of this civil society council, which are organizations, local organizations that are part of this council because they are interested or that they're working with something to increase or strengthen the integration locally in Järfälla. So I think we have around 30 members of this council, so 30 different NGOs. So we did inform these 30 actors about this possibility, because that was what we had, like that was our job to direct it towards them. But actually anyone could reach out to us and enter a partnership. But then it's a question of the finances, of course. Like we had finance to do this specific direction to this civil society council. I don't know if that answered the question. I hope so.
But that's also an important point that you make, that the regulations regarding this kind of partnerships require actually that the initiative in some way comes from the NGO.
Yes, the initiatives should come from the NGO. Yes.
Not vice versa.
Sorry, no, yeah. No, vice versa, yeah.
But no, I mean, in our case, we thought that it was important. Somehow we took the initiative to inform, but that was because no one knew about it. So we thought we had to first inform. So you could see that as an initiative as well. But then the specific initiative on what the civil society organization or NGOs wanted to do, that has to come from them and not from us.
But you are not actually do something. You are waiting for NGOs come and support all the activities, isn't it?
Yeah, you could say that, but we had like a short time span. So we informed, and then we said, okay, you have to come in with your initiative before this date. So we had to like speed up the process a little bit to be able to implement these partnerships. Yeah,
I think if I can fill in there also that process that when you went out with the information that you were open to these type of partnerships as an NGO, that also meant that we had to sort of think through really and put on paper in sort of an application or a suggestion. Okay, what is it really that we want to do? What is it really that we do as an NGO, and what can we do locally, and how can we do something that actually interact, in some way gives a synergy with what the municipality does. So it made us have to consider our activities a little bit closer, which was good for us as an NGO to think, okay, not just to say, well, we do this, but we had to put on paper like exactly what is it that we really want to do. And that was helpful. It's a process, of course, to go through, but it was helpful to us. Sorry, you had a question.
I have many questions. Really, it's really interesting to hear about how you're working. I work in an NGO in Norway, and with the partnerships, so does the organizations, they sign a written partnership agreement with the municipality? And is it like, I really like the idea that it's the organizations can put their things, what they want to do forward, but do you also like reach out to some organizations? Because often when, at least in Norway, we can see that it might be the bigger organizations that have the power to like write good applications or to get these news that this is something they can do, that they will be like really fast on writing an application, signing the partnership, and it's so many really good qualified organizations, smaller organizations that might not get what this is about. And one last question also, is it like all types of NGOs? Is it like sports clubs and local handicraft groups, or is it like more into immigration issues, or is it like, if you know what I mean?
Yes, thank you. I just stopped sharing so I can see you a bit better. So those are really good questions. I think for the first question, we try to make because we did do a sort of application form so that we could take these initiatives in, and we tried to make it as easy as possible so that it would be accessible for everyone, because in this local like civil society council that I'm talking about, there are different, like from very small local organizations, maybe they have like not so many members, maybe they're very located in an area in the municipality and they do activities there. Like that, we have those types of organizations, but also bigger like local departments of the Red Cross, for example. Like we have bigger and smaller organizations with different skills. So we try to make it as easy as possible to apply or to send in the initiatives. And then we didn't like, as soon as we got the initiatives in, we didn't like, okay, you have to come back and you have to write more about this. Then we took we booked meetings and we had dialogues. So we had really like, we just wanted to bring in like, okay, what's your thoughts, what's your ideas? And then we could take the next step and have dialogues. So we did not have so like strict, it has to be exactly like this, we tried to keep it as simple as possible. So that it would be more accessible. And then we focused on having meetings. And with some we had one meeting and that was it. And with others we had many dialogues before we came up with, okay, and really understood each other and felt comfortable writing these agreements together.
Yeah, that sounds, just a comment, that sounds really good, because if you don't have that like writing skills within your organization, it's easy to just look at all the applications and it can be unevenly distributed because you only look at how well written the applications. With the dialogue, you will get these organizations in. Yeah,
then it's easier to talk and to understand better. Yeah.
And also wondering like if it's like all kinds of organizations or if it's more like towards immigrant population or if it's just sports. I mean, NGOs can be anything. So it's
the focus for this
integration, right?
The focus for this council for the civil society is towards integrations, like strengthening the integration. So all of the NGOs or religious communities somehow work towards that. But we have some more sports organizations that maybe do specific activities to help or to support newly arrived, for example, or we have very local organizations that have like migrants as their member base kind of. So it's different.
May I ask something, because I want to understand better? Let's say that civil society council, it's like something, a database of NGOs and local internetships?
No, sorry.
No?
Maybe I should have been more explain better what it is. So it's more a place where representatives from the civil society, so local associations and religious community, and politicians, where they meet. So they have meetings and they talk about different topics. It's also a way to provide information, so we can provide information and they provide information on what's going on in their organization. But so there are meetings mainly, but it's politically, like we have like what do you call it? Like an ordförande. So we have a politician who is who is the sorry?
The chairman.
Exactly. So it's still governed politically, but it's for the civil society also.
To run a project, it has to be an approval from the municipality to do something with an NGO?
Yes. So according to the guidelines in our municipality, it doesn't have to be the politicians who take the decision. It could be us working, like our highest boss. She could make that decision. But in this case, the politicians, I think there was this high interest, so we brought it up to the politicians so that they could make decisions on which partnerships they wanted to approve.
Thank you.
Lise, you had a question.
Nu kan jeg ta det på norsk.
Du kan ta det på norsk, jeg kan oversette. Det går bra.
Det sånn at dette har fått deltakelsen til å øke? Fordi min erfaring at jeg jobber med lavt utdannede innvandrere som de vil veldig gjerne gå på skole, og de deltar ikke i uformelle integreringsarenaer i bydelene. De vil bare gå på skole, og så vil de være hjemme. Og bydelene gjør masse bra arbeid for å integrere, men det de ressurssterke som stiller opp der. Selv om det lavterskeltilbud som veldig tilpasset lavt utdannede grupper, så møter de ikke opp. De vil bare gå på skole, og så være hjemme. Nå, ikke bare, men jeg overdriver litt. Altså, jeg tenker at det høres kjempebra ut, men øker det deltakelsen fra de som virkelig trenger uformell integreringsarenaer?
Sanna, you probably understood. Translate
yes.
to English.
Yeah, of course.
So Lisa's question was that she works with immigrants with low level of education and who also tend to only want to go to school and then go home. So they do not participate in these kind of informal NGO initiatives for informal learning or whatnot. So the question was, do these kind of active activities or partnerships promote and increase the participation for those more marginalized groups that actually don't participate in NGO activities? Right?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, so we don't have all the figures and numbers yet, since we're still implementing it, but so far, like from the first two partnerships that I mentioned, I mean, they have participants, and this was something new. So it's absolutely an increase of participants, if you want to put it that way, because this did not exist before, and now it exists, and they have participants. And I think that I can only reflect upon it a little bit. I think that one thing is to combine these things with other important topics. So for example, the job seeking activities or learning digital skills, like these are things that these local organizations have identified that their members are in need of this. Like they are asking for these types of activities. So then they have combined this with the goal of also learning the language. And so I think that could be one success factor to bring people in to actually combine this with other things that are important for the people that are learning Swedish. Yes, and then in the case of using the application, I mean, we will see if it increases, but I think so. I mean, people have been really impressed by the application when you have been showing it, Henrik, in different contexts.
Yes.
So
Yes, but your question is of course in our experience in this partnership, of course we see that challenge, also, but we also see that this kind of partnership again makes us think about, okay, how do we do this then because we are there in a way that we're probably not used to, because we have an online activity, we have an online language learning service. So when we're actually placed in that situation with somebody with, like you say, maybe a lower level of education, and they maybe have lower digital skills, to actually be there and having to show that person, how does this work and how can this help you, is also a learning experience for us. So to be able to get to those people that we don't normally probably reach, has helped us, I think, in this partnership also. It's allowed us to,
But I would say we had another, like, this is not a partnership with the local civil society, but our SFI, the Swedish for Immigrants, that is the municipality's formal education system. They actually tried to make like an out of school, like after school, how do you say, time for extra, like
extracurricular activities.
Sorry?
School support.
Yeah, support, like help with the different tasks from school and such, and it was full, like people came. So I don't know, maybe it's just how, maybe it's just different, I don't know, but my experience is that the people that I have come in contact with and in different areas, they have been really eager to learn also after school and get this support. But maybe it's different depending on which target group you have. I don't know.